When people think of being alone, they often think of it in a negative manner. Understandably, we associate loneliness with sadness and fear. It's something we want to avoid. And in this modern world, it's all too easy to keep ourselves constantly surrounded by people. The internet pretty much allows us to talk with anyone, anywhere, at any time. We're never alone anymore, especially not alone with just our thoughts. If we are by ourselves, we're working or watching a movie or listening to music. But I don't think being alone is all bad. In fact, there is a beauty in it, and I think that beauty is best expressed or explained through video games. I often find one of the most memorable and compelling aspects for me is that sense of being alone, even if it is sad, frightening, or unsettling. But why is that? Why do we enjoy loneliness? Before discussing true loneliness in games, it's important to clarify what doesn't count. I'm not talking about just single-player games or those lacking multiplayer features. A game designed for one player doesn't inherently evoke loneliness. Even without online play, Animal Crossing never feels lonely because of its cheerful villagers. This world isn't designed to reflect true solitude, and it doesn't need to. It's not that kind of a game. Games I mean when I say loneliness are games like Metroid Prime, Breath of the Wild, and especially Minecraft. Even Mario Galaxy. Their approach to loneliness creates a powerful atmosphere that changes our experience. There are a few elements that a game needs to combine to fully capture that sense of being alone. First and foremost, the environment must evoke a sense of emptiness or isolation, often achieved through vast, desolate landscapes or abandoned spaces that are rich in atmospheric detail. These environments tell stories of what once was, hinting at former life and activity now absent, giving the sense of exploring a dead world. Sound design is another critical element. A minimalistic score or the occasional distant echoing sound can create an auditory reminder of loneliness. The use of silence, punctuated by the sounds of your movement, often reinforces our awareness of being alone in a space. Silence is very unnerving. We have become so used to constantly hearing music or background noise in our daily lives that its absence is very noticeable and feels off. Gameplay mechanics can also amplify this theme. Limited interactions with other characters, sparse dialogue, or even mechanics that challenge you to navigate alone without guidance contribute to that feeling. The pacing should intentionally slow down exploration, emphasizing moments of contemplation. Finally, the story, whether through narrative or implied lore, must resonate with themes of abandonment or loss or isolation. Through a combination of these factors, a game can craft an experience that isn't just about being alone, but truly feeling it. Breath of the Wild truly uses loneliness to its full potential. There are still lots of NPCs and different characters to interact with. Some places are very populated, but they don't make up much of the game. They are just to contrast the emptiness of this world. You will spend 90% of your time alone. And that time isn't spent idle, it's spent exploring the landscape, where the only sounds you hear are the wind, the occasional enemy, or the soft piano music. The game masterfully captures the feeling of wandering alone in a forest or crossing a large field. The broken remains of Hyrule stand as reminders of the Great Calamity, emphasizing themes of death and hope. The sense of isolation is further deepened by the absence of bustling cities or crowds. Even when you reach a village or stable, it feels more like a temporary haven than a true return to society. And the fear of running into a guardian means you stay conscious of this loneliness. The choice to leave large portions of the game devoid of music, instead opting for soft piano notes or the natural ambient sounds, adds to this haunting sense of being the last remnant of an age long gone, and allows for moments of action when the music does take on a body to feel more intense. Even the story itself, driven by a past you weren't present to witness, fills your journey with a sense of bittersweet purpose. In this, I love the loneliness of Breath of the Wild, and am very glad we weren't accompanied by a fairy. Metroid Prime also uses loneliness to its advantage, making the game hauntingly immersive. You navigate the desolate alien landscape of Talon 4, where the only sounds are the echoes of your footsteps and the distant calls of wildlife. Each empty room tells a story of abandonment, pushing you to explore the environment and uncover the history. Unlike in 2D Metroid, there is no communication with Adam Malkovich or any other outside figure. You are absolutely alone. The only information you receive comes from the scattered Chozo logs and the intercepted space pirate data, adding to the isolation. The sense of constantly being hunted by the space pirates adds an eerie, almost unnerving sense to the exploration. Samus never speaks a word, and no one speaks to her. This choice ensures the feeling of loneliness never fades. The closest you come to seeing another person is catching Samus's own reflection in her visor, a reminder that she is the sole explorer in an indifferent, often hostile world. The environmental storytelling and sound design are amazing. The ambient noises and subtle, sometimes otherworldly soundtracks create an atmosphere where every sound is a reminder of your isolation on an alien planet. The vast, interconnected world of Talon 4 feels both alive and lifeless, filled with remnants of a civilization long dead, but also overrun by wildlife. The game's pacing, which involves backtracking and meticulously piecing together clues, reinforces the sense of being cut off from any help. This deep, ever-present loneliness is what makes Metroid Prime so immersive. It places you fully in Samus's boots, visually and physically. We often forget that, or just ignore that these characters do have feelings. But I can't help but feel Samus must have some anxiety, and I think this game, due to its intensive loneliness, gives you a bit of that. What is there to say about Minecraft? While I do consider it better as a multiplayer, there is something this game does as a single player that no other game has ever replicated. On paper, Minecraft is a boring, insanely difficult, tedious game. You will spend hours, if you play the game correctly, doing the exact same actions over and over. And they're not difficult actions. That would make a difference. Some games I can play for hours doing the same things because it's a challenge, but the tedious, boring work you end up doing in Minecraft isn't hard at all. Yet, somehow, it's in these repetitive actions, mining block after block, that this game starts to take hold. You are doing these actions, not because someone told you to, but because you just want to. Unlike many games where they try to motivate you or drive you forward, Minecraft almost tries to slow you down. Despite the world being infinite, you feel trapped. The loneliness in Minecraft is unyielding and very important in shaping how you interact with this world from the very beginning. As you enter the infinite world, there's no backstory, no immediate objective, and no guide waiting to point you in a direction. Instead, you're left entirely on your own. This solitude forces you to rely on yourself to explore and survive based on what you discover and create. The loneliness seeps into every element of gameplay. Every decision is yours alone. Where to build a home, what to mine, how to protect yourself, you're left to uncover the ruins, abandoned mineshafts, and temples with no explanation of who once walked there. The silence and emptiness lends a haunting quality to these discoveries. There's a quiet beauty in Minecraft's loneliness, a kind of serene simplicity that few other games capture. This solitude allows you to notice these small details, the soft, blocky light of sunrise casting over an untouched landscape. Without a storyline or companions to distract you, every moment becomes meaningful simply because it's yours, alone. This solitude frees you to create something deeply personal. A fortress, a farm, a city, it's what you want. But I don't think any of these moments would be as meaningful if it wasn't for C418. The music he created for Minecraft doesn't just fill the silence, it defines it. His compositions are soft, minimalistic, and slightly haunting, creating a contrast between these simple, everyday actions in the game and the endlessness of the world around you. The music has a way of appearing when you least expect it. There's something deeply emotional about these moments, sitting in the quiet, feeling a song start to drift in, as though the whole world is acknowledging your presence. C418's music doesn't rush you or force you forward. It encourages you to pause, to reflect, and to feel the beauty in being truly alone. If Minecraft did have a much more grand orchestral soundtrack fitting of an action-adventure game, Minecraft would not be the #1 video game in the world. If Minecraft was not lonely, Minecraft would not be Minecraft. There is one game that, if it wasn't lonely, I would perceive completely different. Without its loneliness, it wouldn't be the same game. Super Mario Galaxy. You'll interact with lots of characters throughout the game, and not many worlds feel desolate. The Comet Observatory itself becomes livelier as you progress, gradually filling with Lumas and other characters, turning it into a vibrant hub. Yet, even with this growing sense of community, the game manages to capture moments of true loneliness. There's something uniquely isolating about space, from one tiny planet to another, surrounded by vast emptiness of the cosmos. Each small world you visit often feels like an island, detached from the rest. It's in these quieter moments, when Mario is suspended in space, drifting through the starry void or listening to the melancholic notes of the soundtrack, that the game evokes a sense of being alone. These pockets of solitude create a contemplative atmosphere among the more playful and chaotic aspects of the game. It's this balance of wacky characters and cosmic loneliness that makes Super Mario Galaxy a one-of-a-kind game. This loneliness helps to make space feel big. Something a lot of games and movies miss is that feeling of grandeur space has. This place is huge, and it's mostly empty. And if Mario Galaxy had treated it like the Mushroom Kingdom, it would not feel the same. Isolation leads to a feeling of melancholy. Melancholy leads to reflection. Reflection leads to wonder. And without that, Mario Galaxy would not be the same game. These were just a few of my favorite examples. There are tons of more games I could list where loneliness affected the experience in some way. Please, share some of your favorite examples in the comments, and thank you for watching.